So make sure it doesn't go too low.
Everyone rolling?
All good to go.
We're good there.
Okay, so if I could just ask you to present yourself first.
My name is Talat Yaqoob and I'm the outgoing chair of the Board of Trustees for First Aid Africa.
So could you explain to us what the role of the Board of Trustees is?
Yes, so the Board of Trustees is there to provide financial, ethical and organisational governance. And what that means is basically making sure that the charity is doing what its aims and objectives are, and any money that's coming in through donations, making sure that it's spent in the right way, the way that we have constitutionally said it should be spent. So dotting the I's and crossing the T's, which sounds a bit bureaucratic, but is very important when it comes to charity management.
And what was your role as the chair? What was that?
So my role as chair is to make sure that those actions actually happen. I essentially manage the work of the board, making sure that things happen in time, accounts are sent on time, that decisions are made and that decisions are well informed. And once we make those decisions, that we've got the evidence to say why we made those decisions. So in the case where decisions can't be made, it's my duty to make a final call on things.
And how did you get involved with First Aid Africa in the first place?
It's a pretty good story, actually. I was working at Harriet Watt Students' Union, Student Association, and Sam, who's the principal officer now, came along and presented me with a post-it note that had, at the time, firstaidafrica@hotmail.com, because it wasn't a big organisation, it was an idea. And he said, could you help me set up a student society? And we did, and that was back in 2007. And then it went from being a student society to being existing as student societies in a number of Scottish universities. Then he decided to set it up as a charity so that he could get the support he needed and make it wider across the UK. And he approached me and asked, since you've been involved right at the beginning of it, would you be on the Board of Trustees? And of course I said yes, because it was fantastic to see something that was an idea on a post-it note become a UK-wide charity.
What's been the greatest challenges of this role?
Saying no. So we want to do fantastic things in First Aid Africa. We want to help as many people as possible, make sure that they have emergency care and access to education when it comes to first aid. We want to be able to give students and young people in the UK an opportunity to get involved, but sometimes you have to say no. And there might be lots of ideas, but you can only pick 1 out of 10 ideas. And I think the hardest part has been learning to say no and doing things bit by bit rather than trying to do everything at once and change everything at once. That is the biggest challenge.
What's been the greatest satisfaction then?
Seeing those things through. So when you get a chance to have an idea and you get to work with Sam, you get to work with presidents and student volunteers of student societies, see them have so much ownership, raise funds, get involved with so many different activities, that's the biggest satisfaction. And seeing how much students are engaged in this and want to get involved the next again year is a great deal of satisfaction.
Why did you choose to volunteer your time for First Aid Africa in particular?
I think what First Aid Africa is doing is critical. We're talking about saving people's lives. We're talking about giving people the opportunity to learn when they don't have access to the care that we take for granted in the UK. Why wouldn't I want to get involved in something like that? It's brilliant. And at a time when it feels like the world is closing itself off to other people, I think First Aid Africa is creating relationships both in the UK and across East Africa. That's something that I think now more than ever we need to be doing more of.
What would you like to see First Aid Africa do better?
I think for me, it's not a particularly exciting thing to say, but as somebody who has been involved in the management of the charity, for us it's about financial sustainability. So it's about growing so that we're making more income, so that income can go right back into the places that it's needed the most. So fundraising and sustainable fundraising is always going to be the most critical for any charity.
And what do you do for a living?
So I am director of an organisation called Equate Scotland, and that works to get women and girls into science, technology and engineering and into jobs of the future and create equality in the labour market.
Could you mention one book, song, film and piece of artwork that means a lot to you?
Okay, I can probably go for one book and one song. I don't think I'm cultured enough to have favourites in all four, but my favourite book is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, which is just a beautiful, heartbreaking yet optimistic book, and I think everyone should read it. And my favourite song is X Factor, not The X Factor. I think it's very important I point that out. X Factor by Lauryn Hill, because I think she's got a beautiful voice.
Could you share one memorable experience you've had with First Aid Africa?
That's a really tough question because there have been so many wonderful experiences being involved in First Aid Africa for as long as I have. But I think for me, one of the best experiences was the very first annual general meeting, the AGM, which was 5 years ago now. But we had about 80 students there from across the UK. And when you've done all the paperwork, all the late meetings, given up your weekends to do paperwork, seeing it in action and seeing 80 students there talking about how much they loved the work that they've done with the charity, and how hearing from the staff that we recruit in Tanzania and Kenya at the time, and the schools that we've worked with on video talking about the impact that First Aid Africa has made to them, it was wonderful to see and made all of the work and all of the meetings worthwhile.
Thank you. Could you just share some people you're thankful for?
Well, I think there's a whole range of people. I think the people who went on the very first expedition that First Aid Africa organised, if it hadn't been for them trialling out something new, we wouldn't have known whether this is something that could work well. We've had different trustees come and go, and the very first set of trustees that we had, they put themselves on the line, gave up a lot of free time for an organisation that had only just started, so I'm very grateful to them. And of course I'm very grateful to Sam Abrahams, who's the principal officer and takes on a lot of work and has a lot of dedication for First Aid Africa and really makes the work happen.